Most men have no idea what's actually happening when a woman looks at them and smiles. They think it's just politeness, maybe mild interest, but they miss the truth because the truth isn't in what she says, it's in how her body reacts. And the scary part, that reaction happens in the first 5 seconds. Her breath, her posture, the flick of her eyes, all of it reveals something no one ever taught you to notice. This video isn't about cheesy pickup lines or tricks to get the girl. It's about something much more powerful. It's about learning the secret language of feminine desire and what it really means when a woman gets wet just by seeing you. The signs are subtle, but they're always there. You've walked past women who were already aroused and you didn't even know it. You've had conversations where her body was screaming yes, while her mouth played it cool, and you missed it. Not because you're weak, but because no one showed you how to see beyond the surface. That ends today. Because once you know these 5 signs, once you understand the psychology, the biology, the emotional mechanics behind arousal, you'll never look at women the same again. And more importantly, they'll never look at you the same again either. If you've ever wanted to unlock that silent pull that makes her chase you without knowing why, watch this video until the end. Don't skip, don't scroll. The knowledge here doesn't just give you an advantage. It gives you power over a game most men don't even know they're playing. What you're about to hear, no one has told you before, and once you hear it, you'll never forget it. Most men are obsessed with words. They want her to say she's attracted. They wait for permission, for validation, for some kind of green light they can understand. But here's the brutal truth. By the time she opens her mouth, the opportunity has already passed. A woman's body speaks first. Always, and if you're not trained to listen, you'll miss everything. Attraction doesn't begin with flirting. It begins with reaction, raw, biological, uncontrollable response to a presence that hits her nervous system before her brain even processes it. When a woman is genuinely turned on by a man the moment she sees him, her body sends signals she doesn't even know she's giving off. It's not about how you look, it's about how you make her feel when you enter the room. Your energy, your posture, your awareness, it creates a subtle pressure that activates something ancient in her nervous system. Her breathing shifts, her chest subtly opens, her voice softens, her eyes widen. These are not rehearsed gestures, these are biological betrayals. They tell the truth her words often hide. And the reason most men never catch this is because they've been programmed to overvalue what's spoken and underestimate what's felt. We're taught to listen to sentences, not sensations. But the most powerful men, the ones women can't forget, are the ones who know how to read a room, not react to it. They observe before they pursue, they sense before they speak, and that makes her feel exposed without ever being touched. That's the moment her arousal begins, not when you compliment her, not when you ask for her number, but when you understand her body's language better than she does. A woman doesn't get wet because you said the right thing. She gets wet because your presence disrupted her internal calm. Because something in you, your self-control, your eye contact, your certainty slipped past her defenses and hit her on a primal level. That can't be faked. That can't be learned from pickup lines or dating apps. It comes from stillness, from being so rooted in your own masculine energy that she's forced to feel her feminine response without understanding why. If you train yourself to watch the micro signals, the breath, the eye flicker, the posture shift, you'll never chase again. Because you'll realize the moment of ignition happens in silence, not speech. She'll show you everything before she tells you anything. And if you wait for her to speak, you're already too late. Start learning to feel before you ask, sense her before you touch her. Because the most seductive men don't convince, they witness. And in that gaze, she either melts or hides. Either way, you'll know the truth before she ever says a word. Every man is taught to listen with his ears. But the man she remembers, the one she aches for, is the one who listened with his presence. There's a moment men often misread. A moment when she leans in close, laughs at your words, touches your arm, but then suddenly pulls back, looks away, or says something cold. Most men get confused. They think she changed her mind, that she's no longer interested, but this isn't rejection. This is resistance. And if you can't tell the difference, you'll always walk away too soon. When a woman feels genuine sexual tension with a man, real gut-level attraction, she often doesn't know what to do with it. Her logical brain kicks in and tries to take control. She starts managing, shielding, pretending. That's where the coldness comes from. It's not that she's not attracted. It's that she's trying to survive the intensity of it. Because your presence just disrupted her emotional balance. And that's terrifying if she's used to being in control. This is especially true for high, functioning, emotionally guarded women. The ones who are used to being the smartest in the room. The ones who never let anyone get too close. When you trigger something raw in them, something physical, instinctive, and unexplainable, it creates a kind of psychological short circuit. Her body is saying yes, but her mind is throwing up walls to keep you out. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she wants you too much, and that scares her. So she'll act cold. She'll make a joke to kill the moment. She'll talk about another man. She might even tell you she's not interested. But if you look closely, if you watch her body instead of reacting to her words, you'll see the truth. Her eyes linger too long, her breath gets shaky, her tone drops, she doesn't leave, she doesn't pull away completely. She stays hoping you'll be strong enough not to fall for the trap of taking her words at face value. This is where emotional discipline becomes power. Most men either chase harder when she pulls away, or they withdraw completely, assuming she's not into them. Both responses kill the tension, but the man who can stay still, grounded, unfazed, that man becomes unforgettable. Because he's not seeking validation, he's not asking her to feel safe. He is the safety, and in that space, she can drop her guard without being forced. She doesn't want you to push, but she also doesn't want you to leave. What she craves, deep down, is a man who doesn't flinch in the face of mixed signals. A man who can hold the space for her storm and not drown in it. So the next time a woman gets close, then suddenly distant, don't react. Don't chase, don't run, just notice, just stay calm. Because if you hold steady while her logic fights her lust, you'll watch her resistance break not through force, but through presence. And in that moment, she won't just want you, she'll surrender to you. Because you didn't chase her words, you mastered her energy. One of the greatest lies men are sold is that arousal begins with touch. That you have to kiss her, caress her, say something sexual to spark desire. But real seduction, the kind that lingers in her memory and makes her body respond before a word is spoken, begins long before you lay a single hand on her. It begins with your energy, your masculine stillness, your emotional control. Your presence is the foreplay. And if you understand that, you'll realize how much power you've been wasting trying to convince, instead of simply being. When a woman feels a man's grounded presence, it triggers something deeper than physical attraction. It makes her body feel safe and stimulated at the same time. That contrast is everything. Most men bring one or the other. Some are calm but dull. Others are exciting but chaotic. The man who combines both, intensity without tension, desire without desperation, creates an emotional cocktail her nervous system can't resist. She won't be able to explain why she feels so drawn to you, but her body will respond as if it's already been claimed. This is why you don't need to speak explicitly or or touch inappropriately to create arousal. A slow, steady gaze. A confident silence, the way you enter a room without needing attention, yet commanding it anyway, that's what makes her wet. Because in a world full of men begging for validation, the man who doesn't chase instantly becomes the one who leads. Not with words, but with energy that says, I don't need to prove myself, I already know who I am. That energy tells her everything she needs to know. It says you won't be overwhelmed by her beauty. You won't collapse under pressure. You won't lose your center when she tests you. And whether she's conscious of it or not, that creates a physiological response she cannot control. Her breath deepens, her hips shift, her skin flushes. This is biology responding to authority, not aggression. And once that switch is flipped, the game is no longer about what you do. It's about what you withhold. Arousal thrives in subtlety. It feeds on tension, not touch. And if you try to rush that tension, you'll break it. The smart man waits. He lets her feel the slow burn of anticipation. He holds space, knowing that every second she spends wondering what you'll do next. She's falling deeper under your influence, without you having to move a muscle. This is why women remember the man who said less, but made her feel more. The one who looked at her in silence and made her body speak louder than her voice ever could. The one whose stillness undressed her defenses before he even touched her skin. You don't need lines. You don't need tricks. You need presence. Because a woman doesn't get wet from your touch. She gets wet from the man you are before the touch ever happens.